ये कैसे हो सकता है कि इतने मतलब यूनेस्को वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट में how can you allow huge ships like this carrying oil, carrying fertilizers, carrying pesticides, carrying coal? कैसे allow कर रहे हैं? Of course, we realized later that it's illegal, that they were not supposed to go through this part of the Sundarbans, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site.
Lights, Camera, Azadi is a show that is on a quest to meet personalities. The personalities who have always challenged the status quo. These people are courageous and confident to speak the truth and are best at it. Though the world may or may not agree with them, they always work for nation building. We want to talk to them and understand their perspective. We want to know their worldview, their thoughts, and what gaps do they see in the society, and most importantly, how to live life fearlessly. My name is Vandit Jain, and I'm just a medium to get these stories to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Namaskaram, vadakkam, sat sri akal and adab, and hello to anybody and everybody जो मुझे जहाँ सुन रहे हैं. I have a huge news. That is why I'm so excited. Finally, after a long wait, we at Lights Camera Azadi have our own website. Yeah, yes, I know. Well, we took a lot of time, but yes, we finally have a website. I would specially like to thank my friend Prakhar Shukla for all the efforts and hard work he put in the website for free to get it up and running. We also have a special segment on the website where you can contribute and take the first step in Indian politics by sharing your opinion pieces and get them published. Uh, Whatever you want to write, if you have something, an opinion, or maybe uh, a thought about Indian politics, send it to us on lightscameraazadi at gmail.com, which is our new official email ID. And if you like it, we may publish it. Anyway, coming to the show. Well, it is a very special episode, and this one is particularly close to my heart. So, this is not just an interview, it is a feature film, more like a audio documentary. So, I met Aarti through Omer and we started talking in May, and finally, we got a chance to record on 8th August. And trust me, guys, when I say this, Aarti is one of the most purpose driven individuals I have come across. She goes to such core areas in the country and tries to get stories related to environmental calamities out either through her blog, photography, or videos. Her stories are breathtaking. I had so much fun and had an insightful ride with her on this podcast. I felt I got to know more about the country. Well, I would also like to acknowledge the efforts of Abhishek Shah, who has done an amazing editing for this episode, and you guys will enjoy it. So, without wasting any time, let us go straight to Aarti and her chronicles. 3, 2, 1. Aarti Kumar Rao, welcome to Lights Camera Azadi.
Hello, Vandit. Thanks so much for having me.
Is this your first podcast, Aarti?
No, it's not my first podcast. I think it would be my third podcast.
Damn. वाओ a lot of times it happens here ना कि मतलब मेरे शो पे काफी ऐसे लोग आते हैं कि इनका it's a first podcast तो I feel good कि चलो that's going to be interesting.
I think each podcast is interesting though, so I'm looking forward to this one.
uh, Tell me, how did you ended up becoming a photographer?
Um, Acha, so firstly, I don't consider myself a photographer.
Mhm.
I know that the writers consider me a photographer, the photographers consider me a writer, the
Okay.
scientists consider me a writer or a photographer. I don't know what they consider me. So I'm really nothing to anyone. So it's a little bit of a jack of all trades kind of thing. I'd like to think of myself as a chronicler. That is somebody who documents things, but I use photography, I use writing, I use art, I use different methods to communicate.
Mhm.
So, how did I become this? Well, it's a long story. I think right from when I was young, um, my in my house, my father and my uncles and stuff like that, they would be arguing about dams, whether they're good, bad. My father was this environmentalist. He was part of the Narmada Bachao and all that. So there was always this kind of, topic which was discussed in the house, and I used to hear all that. But and I've also always wanted to somehow marry science and literature, writing, things like that. Both of which I was very much interested in. And so I wanted to tell stories. I've always wanted to tell stories, but I also wanted to study science. So I studied physics. I did a master's in physics until I decided that was not what I wanted to do for the rest of my life. And so I gave that up overnight and looked for a journalism job. And I took my first journalism job for about a year in a magazine called Society in Bombay. And that's when I realized that storytelling was really, I just loved it. I enjoyed it. But even then, after that, I again wandered a little bit, went into corporate, and I was in a corporate job for 10 years. I studied a little bit more, did two more masters, all kinds of things, wandered a lot. But lately, then in about 2010 or so, I decided that uh, this was it. I'm not going to do all kinds of random stuff. I want to get back to storytelling and get back to it seriously. And it took me a little bit of time to find my feet in India and just make the right contacts and so on. But about 2013, 2012 or 2013, I started finding what I really wanted to do, which is environmental storytelling. And I started doing that. I financed it out of my savings from the corporate thing. So I was doing it all by myself for the longest time. Yeah, that's how I started doing this.
ग्लैड आपने ये सेविंग्स एंड यू टॉक्ड अबाउट मनी बिकॉज मेरा फॉलो अप क्वेश्चन ये था कि आप जो करते हो एंड व्हाट यू डू इज इट लुक्रेटिव इज इट हेल्प मेक्स यू मनी एंड इफ नॉट देन हाउ डज दिस बिजनेस मॉडल वर्क्स जो भी आप कर रहे हो
मैं सबको कहती हूँ कि अगर आपको पैसा बनाना है तो आप ये मत करिएगा
हम्म
क्योंकि इसमें तो पैसा तो है नहीं स्टोरी टेलिंग के लिए पैसा मिल जाएगा लेकिन बड़ा सा मकान खरीदना है तो नहीं मिलेगा पैसा so it's not a lucrative profession and that's not I think for the large part that's not why people who do this get into it they don't get into it to make money or they don't have these grandiose dreams and so on for me it's the storytelling that comes first and that's what drives me. And so I look for grants which will allow me to tell stories. And for the first 5 years or so, actually for the first 4 years or so, I got rejected with every grant proposal I wrote. I got rejected all the time. And then finally I got my first grant proposal and then slowly another one and then another one. So
वाओ
yeah, it took a lot of time, a lot of out of pocket costs. And I think it comes down to a lot of dedication and what you want to get out of it, what your goals are to stick with it. It can be you can get quite dejected, but you just have to keep plugging on because there's lots of rejection in this.
एब्सोल्युटली और मतलब मैं वैसे आपको एक बॉक्स में नहीं बंद करना चाहता बिकॉज आप काफ़ी सारी चीज़ें करती है बट फॉर द सेक ऑफ सिंप्लिसिटी कैन आई कॉल यू एनवायरमेंटल एक्टिविस्ट विल यू एसोसिएट विद दैट टर्म और नॉट
No, I'm not an activist. I would call myself an environmental chronicler or a storyteller, maybe. Not even a storyteller, a
ओके
chronicler. I document what I try to document what's happening in our land and to the people who live close to the land and so on. So it's more of a chronicler. That I think is the thing that I associate with most. But even then, I'm not very fond of any of these labels. So yeah.
इनफैक्ट आपने मेरे को शायद एपिसोड का नाम दे दिया एनवायरमेंटल क्रॉनिकलर या
Hmm.
आपके जो डॉक्यूमेंटेशन है उसमें जो मुझे सबसे टचिंग पार्ट जो लगा एंड आई विल आल्सो एनकरेज लिसनर्स टू गो टू ए वेबसाइट जिसकी लिंक मैं शो नोट्स में डाल दूंगा is that the people are at the center of everything that you do and like one of the most remarkable photo and I kept staring at that photo is जो आपकी वेबसाइट पे आप जब कोई जाता है तो एक लेडी की फोटो है और वो शायद सुंदरबन की फोटो है वो शायद देयर इज फ्लड एवरीवेयर एंड शी वो बैक दिखा रही है अपना
Hmm.
and that is that photo and that photo speaks volume अगर कोई उसके डेप्थ में जाने की कोशिश करे तो that was like this is like sort of a comment and a compliment कि the way you portray people and you try to get stories through photos or through other type of documentation is brilliant and beautiful and
Thank
inspiring.
you. Thank you, Vandit. Yeah, I started, well, I was taking photos of various different things, but when I started doing this professionally, I was just before that I was very much into wildlife photography, and I was doing wildlife photography, but I realized very quickly that there is no way you can talk about nature and the environment without including the people that live in those spaces or in those landscapes. And that's when I started focusing on, a slightly more holistic nature of our land and how it is and what the interactions have been and what they are, because that the whole notion of pristine for me is just an a utopia that doesn't exist. And there is, and there always has been, some kind of interaction with humans, and a lot of things that are happening today in the world, to our environment, to nature, to wildlife, it has repercussions. It has repercussions on the people who live in those spaces and who use those spaces. For example, we think when we think of conservation and nature, we tend to think a lot about forests and all these national parks and so on. But if you think of rivers, rivers are used by people. It's used by industry. It's used by so many different kinds of people. Um, and that is also nature. There is so much natural wildlife in rivers as well, but we tend to not think of kinds of things. And I realize that that's kind of why we have found ourselves in a pickle these days. So yeah, very quickly I realized that that's what I want to concentrate on. I want to be able to tell, it's like a web, Vandit. If you think about it, it's like a giant, like a web where everything is connected, everything is interwoven with one another, and you try to kind of tell one story, and you'll see that it has tentacles, and it has these kind of threads that pull other things as well at the same time. And you end up looking back, stepping back and looking at the whole thing, and you realize, oh my god, look at all the repercussions, right? So इसीलिए I've yeah, you're absolutely right. Most of my stories will be, even if it's about a creature, right? Like, say, the Gangetic dolphin or the Indus dolphin. Even if it is about a creature, it is always with respect to the landscape in which it is found, which is very often human landscape.
ये मतलब आप जैसे वैरायटी ऑफ इश्यूज मैंने देखा आपने कवर करे हैं, तो आप डिसाइड कैसे करते हैं कि दिस इज वेयर अगर डू यू व्हाट इज योर फ्रेमवर्क, या आप मतलब सिलेक्शन क्राइटेरिया कैसे होता है? बिकॉज एनवायरमेंटल रिलेटेड कैलामिटीज तो आई थिंक होती भी रहती है, जैसे अभी असम में फ्लड हो
Mm,
गया या समथिंग लाइक
mm,
दैट, एंड सो हाउ हाउ आप डिसाइड कैसे करते हैं कि यार आई विल गो इन दिस डायरेक्शन? आई वाज वेरी क्यूरियस व्हेन आई सॉ ऑल योर वर्क.
hmm. मैं truth, अगर I have to tell you the absolute truth, I don't decide. The story decides, because what ends up happening is कि मैं कहीं जाती हूँ, जैसे थार में जाती हूँ या um, असम में जाती हूँ, तो आई फाइंड कि एक वहाँ पे कुछ स्टोरी होगा, लेकिन उसका कोई इफ़ेक्ट सुंदरबंस में होगा, या सुंदरबंस में जो हो रहा है उसका इफ़ेक्ट कहीं और होगा। सो इट्स everything, just like what I was saying, right? It's connected, and one story
वेब.
leads. Yes,
हाँ.
it's a web. So one story leads to another, no, leads to another. So actually, if you see all the stories that I do, they all will have some common thread. Like जो गंगा ब्रह्मपुत्र का बेसिन देखेंगे, तो इतना बड़ा बेसिन है, and everything is connected to everything. तो जो फराक्का में हो रहा है वो सुंदरबंस में दिख रहा है, that kind of thing. So I have to travel to all those different places to be able to get a sense of कि ये क्या हो रहा है, हम क्या कर रहे हैं to our land. So that's how it decides. I think the story decides it for me. It's not me deciding anything.
Yep. मैं एक्चुअली काफ़ी गेस्ट्स आए हैं एंड ऑन द शो, एंड आई थिंक यू आर अराउंड 25th, आप
Wow.
कुछ गेस्ट होंगे, एंड या, एंड आई हैव कवर्ड डाइवर्स
Mm,
पीपल फ्रॉम लॉयर्स, एक्टिविस्ट, पॉलिटिशियंस, एंड पॉलिसी एक्सपर्ट्स. This is the first time where I am like, यार I want to do my gets job sometime. और मैं भी अब बी अ पार्ट ऑफ इट, एंड जैसे मैंने आपको अपने फोन कॉल में भी बताया था कि आई व्हेन आई वाज गोइंग ऑन अ जर्नी विथ यू थ्रू योर वर्क, मेरे को बार-बार ऐसा लग रहा था कि क्या ऐसा पॉसिबल है कि यार मैं पॉडकास्ट आरती के साथ किसी एक सिचुएशन में वहाँ रियल लाइफ में मतलब से उस सिचुएशन में लाइव रिकॉर्ड कर सके।
हम्म,
So that is what my
कभी
feeling है
आ जाओ
about
हमारे साथ, लाइव भी करेंगे कहीं
I
से.
can come. That's a great
It's
idea, in
actually a
fact.
great idea because
So
I anybody who asks me this, I tell them put on your walking shoes, let's go. Let's walk. अभी तो कहीं जा नहीं
let's go.
सकते, that's a different thing. लेकिन जब जा सकेंगे तो आ जाओ. I mean seriously, it changes perspective, यार. For me, every single time, even if I've gone to the place 10 times, the 11th time that I go, my perspective changes. कुछ ना कुछ तो आ ही जाता है कि यार,
Mm,
ये मुझे नहीं पता था पहले, that kind of thing. So it's just
correct.
a huge learning experience, and it's invaluable. It just opens your
Mm,
eyes. It makes you completely vulnerable. You feel. I come back sometimes with like almost like a PTSD type of trauma, because there's so much that you see, and it's just crazy. We are so cocooned. हम यहाँ पे जो सिटी में जो हमारी जो जीवन है, it's just almost like we're in these ivory towers. And to get out of that
mm.
and see what we are doing to our land, to our people, it's really worth going out.
That's actually good. So you are saying it on record that the next time you're going somewhere, you will at least invite me and then we can decide.
नेक्स्ट टाइम तो मालूम नहीं, लेकिन कभी मैं जब मैं जा रही हूँ, आप अगर फ्री होंगे तो आ जाओ.
बिल्कुल डन। आई
आई डोंट नो अबाउट नेक्स्ट टाइम, बिकॉज मेरा तो कल भी हो सकता है. दैट इट कैन बी सो फास्ट. सो
नहीं
अभी कहीं नहीं जा रहे हैं, लेकिन डेफिनेटली आई इनवाइट you. I invite, as long as you are okay not staying in a 5-star
ऑफ
hotel,
कोर्स
not eating 5-star food. You may not eat food for two meals. The third meal might be the only meal you get in the day. If all of that is okay with you, and you don't mind getting dirty, because I go to all kinds of, like, I Sundarbans mein aoge to you're going to be walking through 2 foot deep muck, because it's mud flats, right? So bina chappal pehne kuch, you'll be going in there. So all kinds of things.
नहीं फॉर श्योर
If you're ready for that, so
फॉर
yes,
श्योर
definitely.
and maybe we should just like do a series live from the ground zero and just like do 3-4 episodes around it, what we
That would be
discovered.
lovely.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
what we discovered, what we learned, and get somebody from the situation who is living that situation, उनको एक बार शो पे लेके आ जाएंगे.
Yeah, I'm sure. See, yeah, that's one thing I've realized, that a lot of these people want to be heard.
Yeah,
हमारा mainstream media, इनका कोई मतलब, they have no standing at all, and it's vital for us to listen to what's happening on the ground, and
बिल्कुल
it'll be an
फॉर
excellent
श्योर
one.
आई थिंक दैट लेट्स जस्ट डू इट. एंड हाँ, मीडिया का सेक्शन छोड़ रखा है मैंने पॉडकास्ट में टुवर्ड्स टुवर्ड्स द लास्ट सेगमेंट.
हाँ.
बट हाँ, बट आरती आपके ना सुंदरबन के साथ रिलेशनशिप थोड़ा सा बताओ, लाइक हाउ डिड इट हैपन एंड व्हाट डू यू फील अबाउट सुंदरबन, क्योंकि मुझे ऐसा लगा कि आप यू फील वेरी वेरी स्ट्रांगली अबाउट सुंदरबन बिकॉज वो कहीं कहीं पे ना निकल के आ रहा था बहुत ज्यादा. जब भी मैं रिसर्च करता था आपके बारे में, समथिंग अबाउट और समथिंग और द अदर अबाउट सुंदरबन यूज्ड टू कम, इवन लाइक वन ऑफ द बेस्ट फोटोज वर फ्रॉम सुंदरबन.
Yeah. So what happened was, when I started, जब 2014 में जब मैंने ये काम शुरू किया, I first went to Assam, and I thought I'll start from there. I wanted to chronicle the Brahmaputra and what all is happening in the basin. But from there, I realized that I probably want to go to the delta, because the Ganga Brahmaputra delta is huge, right? It's Bangladesh, Bengal, West Bengal, and then the two rivers, Ganga and Brahmaputra, they meet, and then they flow into the Bay of Bengal at the Sundarbans, right? So I had to go to the Sundarbans. I absolutely had to see it as part of the basin. So I think it was August of, it's probably, this is what, 2020, na? So
हाँ.
6 years ago, around this time, exactly this time, was my first trip to the Sundarbans, and I went on the Bangladeshi side.
Oh.
I met a friend there who's a herpetologist. He's a great guy, Caesar, and you should have him on your show. He's doing excellent work with turtles and stuff, conservation. So we set off. We went to the Sundarbans, and we took a boat, and we stayed on the boat for 10 days, and we just went all over. It's very different on the Bangladeshi side than it is on the Indian side, how you do this thing, or at least it used to be. I don't know how it is now. So when I went there, right, we spent those 10 days on the boat in the Sundarbans, exploring all kinds of things. We slept on the boat. We didn't get off we didn't like go into any hotel or anything. Everything was on the boat, cooking, everything was on the boat. And I just realized that it's huge. And we were talking constantly to the fishermen that we saw, and understanding what, they're facing and so on. And I realized that that place is so, for us who are, if we go as tourists, it looks beautiful. It is beautiful. Of course, it's beautiful. But for the people who live there, it's really hard to make a living and to, it's very hard because of all the things that are happening that's affecting the Sundarbans. So I started connecting things back, and I realized that the Sundarbans is almost like this. It's like this mini world in which all the problems that we are seeing in rivers across the land, as you go upriver, downriver, everything almost comes to uh, it shows up in the Sundarbans, and so there was a lot of pain. There was a lot of debt. People were struggling. The fishermen were struggling. There was no fish in the river, and this is like the hotbed of the hilsa fish. The hilsa is this iconic fish for the Bengalis, right? No wedding is complete without a hilsa meal. And this fish, they were struggling. I think when I went there that year, it was in 35 years the worst year they had seen for hilsa catches. And they were saying that the last 7 years it has been like that. And so that I realized there that there's a lot of things that we do in the land which we don't realize, but it shows up in this place. And I kept going back. Then within 3 months, there was an oil spill in the Sundarbans, the same place in Bangladesh. So I rushed back, and we were there again. I went with Caesar, and we spent another 10 days over there on the boat, and so, just seeing again how things were affecting the people, the villagers there, and so on. And then I realized that, okay, I haven't seen our own Sundarbans. I have not seen it on the Indian side. And so then I hooked up with an amazing group which does a lot of good work with fishermen, just small fishermen, not the big trawler guys, small scale fishermen. And I started going to the Sundarbans with them.
Oh, and by the way, do you want to know how Sundarban sounds like? Well, here you go. Magnificent, right? Well, Aarti recorded it during one of her chronicles to Sundarbans. Let's get back to Aarti.
And I started meeting fishermen, fisherwomen, wives of people who have lost their lives to the tiger, all kinds of different kinds of people. And I realized, that there is so much to that landscape, such treachery in that landscape that as a casual tourist we never see. And it's a place that's constantly in flux because of where it is, how it is. It's a tidal delta, and it's also being affected by everything upstream. So I realized that that's a story, and it's a story I'm still working on. I haven't finished the Sundarban story. I don't think I'll finish it in a long time because it's a long-term story, and I'm going back again and again to those places. Um, it really affects you, and plus I have now gotten to know so many people there, and they are like family. They call up, to ask how I'm doing. I try to call them whenever I can. Some of the people I know, they've had babies, so I mean it's become almost like a family, a large, disparate family that's in the Sundarbans of mine now. And so yeah, it's I think that apnapan comes out, maybe, even though I'm so far away, that landscape just speaks to you when you're there. It's very hard to make a living there, and you really you see the struggle of the people, and it's quite moving. It's very
Hmm.
moving.
Very, थॉटफुल आरती। और मैं लिसनर्स को भी ये बताना चाहता हूँ कि हम सुंदरबंस की बात इसलिए कर रहे हैं बिकॉज एक इंसिडेंट हुआ था सुंदरबन में, जिसको कहा जाता है सुंदरबन ऑयल स्पिल, जिसमें एक ऑयल टैंकर सदर्न स्टार 7 विच वाज कैरिंग 350,000 लीटर्स ऑफ ऑयल कोलाइडेड इनटू अ कार्गो वेसल, और वो पूरा ऑयल सुंदरबन की स्ट्रीम्स में और पूरे जंगल में फैल गया था, एंड इट अफेक्टेड लैंड वेजिटेशन, इट अफेक्टेड वहाँ पे वाइल्ड लाइफ एंड ऑफ कोर्स द पीपल एंड देयर सोर्सेज ऑफ इनकम। तो आरती, थोड़ा सा वो लेट्स डिग डाउन देयर, वहाँ पे वो एक्सपीरियंस के बारे में थोड़ा बताओ, व्हाट डिड यू लर्न, एंड आई वुड
Hmm.
आल्सो लाइक टू नो बोथ लाइक इंडियन साइड बांग्लादेशी साइड,
Hmm.
हाउ
Hmm.
व्हाट वाज, बिकॉज यू वर देयर राइट जब वो ऑयल स्पिल हुआ था।
I went soon after the oil spill. I heard the oil spill had happened. What happened was it was interesting. The first time I had gone, right, अगस्त में जब गई थी, तब हमने ये ऑयल टैंकर्स को देखा
हम्म,
था जाते हुए, और सुंदरबन से ही निकल रहे थे, और वहीं से 2-3 छोटे वाले जो मछुआरे थे, उन्होंने बताया था कि अभी-अभी टाइगर यहीं से गुज़रा है, और वहीं से ये ऑयल टैंकर भी जा रही थी। एंड आई एम थिंकिंग कि यार, ये कैसे हो सकता है कि इतने मतलब यूनेस्को वर्ल्ड हेरिटेज साइट में, how can you allow huge ships like this carrying oil, carrying fertilizers, carrying pesticides, carrying coal? कैसे allow कर रहे हैं? Of course, we realized later that it's illegal, that they were not supposed to go through this part of the Sundarbans, which is the UNESCO World Heritage Site. But regardless, at that time I was thinking that. And then within 3 months when this happened, I was like, ये तो होना ही था. And so I rushed down and we rushed to the Sundarbans, and what I saw there, one that you won't believe it. It was the worst comparison I have ever seen in my life. 3 महीने पहले, I have photographs of absolutely beautiful streams, rivers, vegetation, everything. और 3 महीने के बाद, it is just black. There's a black stripe across the whole length of this part of the Sundarbans. There's oil on the water. It's floating. I have a picture taken from the front of the boat, जहाँ पे पहले नीचे देखो तो सुंदरी के जो seeds है ना, वो दिखेंगे. The next time during this oil spill, when you look down from the boat, you don't see the seeds anymore. You just see oil, and the boat is cutting through oil. It was just the most heartbreaking sight. And what was even more heartbreaking, if just the destruction of the environment or the ecosystem itself was not enough, the government completely washed its hands off the oil spill, and it asked the local fishermen to clean up the oil spill.
ये मैंने
वो
पढ़ा
हाथ
था।
से कर रहे थे। हाँ,
हम्म,
हाथ से कर रहे थे। ना ना ग्लव्स था, ना मास्क था, ना कुछ। दे आर पुलिंग अप द ऑयल, लाइक जैसे स्क्रैप करके निकालते हैं ना, ऐसे हाथ से निकाल के एक पतीले में डाल रहे थे। पतीला कहाँ से? उनके किचन का था। तो और फिर बोट में डाल के बोट में लेके जा रहे थे, और बोट सब काला, सब कुछ काला, एवरीथिंग वाज़ ब्लैक. They lost everything. They lost all of that because they couldn't use any of those things. They're all fishermen. Their nets became black because there was oil in the water. That same water they used for so many things. All of that was crazy. People fell sick. They had to, pay for medical bills. It was just a mess. It was a total mess. But guess what? The worst part is कि ऐसा शिपिंग जो हो रहा था illegally, पहले जो, because this happened, there was, बैन करेंगे ये वो, they banned it for a bit, okay? They banned shipping for a bit, लेकिन वापस शुरू हो गया. And India and Bangladesh together is building two coal plants, thermal power plants, just north of the Sundarbans. You won't believe where this is. It is just opposite that thing. In a little cove, you see dolphins. You see Irrawaddy dolphins. You see Gangetic dolphins. It's a dolphin sanctuary called Chanpai Dolphin Sanctuary. उसके पास में ये वाला दो बड़े जैसे thermal power plants are there, and those need coal and all that. So there are ships plying through, increased traffic now. And if you noticed in the Hooghly, which is on the Indian side, इतने सारे we've had mishaps of coal ships capsizing in the Hooghly. There have been 7 in 2020 alone, and last week there was another. No, 2 weeks ago there was another one. It's just happening like every 2 weeks. There's some ship that's capsizing and emptying its hazardous cargo, fly ash. This is toxic fly ash into the rivers, and these are rivers which have dolphins. They have fish which people are buying, eating, whatever it is. extremely irresponsible behavior, and there's just no oversight. There's no regulation. There's no implementation of rules or anything, and this is going on through some of the most fragile, endangered ecosystems in the world. These mangrove forests. क्या कहें?
नहीं मतलब ये जो इंडियन स्टेट के बारे में जो मेरे को मतलब आई थिंक वन ऑफ द मोस्ट डिसअपॉइंटिंग थिंग्स व्हिच पीपल डोंट रियलाइज, एंड मैं कुछ कोशिश करता हूँ कि ये बात को सामने लाऊं कि डिस्पाइट ऑफ द दिल्ली जैज़, आप दिल्ली में जितना जैज़ देखते हैं या बड़ी रैलियाँ देखते हैं या कुछ भी देखते हैं, अल्टीमेटली देर आर नॉट जस्ट थाउजेंड, आई थिंक देर आर मिलियंस ऑफ पीपल विच आर सॉर्ट ऑफ लाइक स्टेटलेस सिटीजन्स। मतलब उनके पास वो सब
Hmm.
घर वर है, सब कुछ है, बट अल्टीमेटली द स्टेट इज नॉट टेकिंग केयर ऑफ देम एंड दे आर रियली मार्जिनलाइज्ड। मतलब उनके देखिए ना, उनका घर, आप जैसे बता रही हैं, उनका घर चला गया, उनका व्यवसाय चला गया, उनका सारा मतलब डिस्टॉर्ट हो गया परिवार। हमको, मुझे दिल्ली में कोई, मैं गुड़गांव में रहता हूँ, मुझे कोई बोल दे कि
Oh.
गुड़गांव में जी है ना ये बाढ़ आ गई है, अब तुम जाओ अपनी गंजी लेके और बाढ़ साफ करो। तो आई विल नेवर डू दैट, नोबडी विल डू दैट, बट वहाँ पे तो उनको करना पड़ रहा है। एंड
Hmm.
लाइक यू सेड, गवर्नमेंट टर्न्ड अ ब्लाइंड आई, एंड इट इज नॉट इवन अबाउट कि कौन सी गवर्नमेंट है, मोस्ट लाइकली दिस इज लाइक द नेचर ऑफ द इंडियन स्टेट।
So just to be clear, that thing happened on the Bangladeshi side, but you are absolutely right. कि अगर यहाँ पे होता तो it would probably be very similar. It always comes down to it's never really look what happened in Baghjan, right? In Assam, जो oil field का that thing that has happened with OIL, Oil India Limited. It's the same thing, right? There's no accountability. There's no oversight. There's nothing when it comes to playing by the rules. Nothing. They flout all kinds of things, and you're absolutely right about the
ऑफ
people
कोर्स।
who are stateless as well, because that's who our migrant population is, right? जो विलेज में जो था उनका खेती बाड़ी या फिशिंग या pastoralism, जो पशुपालक थे, जो भी था, when you take that away, and you are taking that away because of whatever, right? You take away their land for some big steel company or whatever, right? You're taking away, when the land goes, the व्यवसाय चला जाता है of so fishing. When there are no fish in the river, what are you going to fish, right? So uh, that goes. These people are forced to migrate, and they're forced to migrate, leaving their traditional livelihoods, their generational livelihoods, and they have to go off into the city, and they are looking for daily wage work. वहाँ पे कौन, I mean, they're completely, they have no agency there. They have no rights, nothing, right? It's just really crazy. And the kids, what happens to the kids? They're either left behind in places where there are no schools. स्कूल के लिए पैसा नहीं है, स्कूल भी नहीं है, टीचर नहीं आते हैं, or they travel with the father and the mother, and then again they're on the roads, because again there's, unless some NGO or something, somebody steps in. What are we doing? What are we doing to? And this is India, right? This is India, South Asia, where you have not hundreds or thousands, you have millions of such people, right? There was a statistic which said it's probably 200 million people on the move in India who are migrants, right? Who are going, either they're cyclical migrants, which is they travel seasonally, or they have migrated from their place looking to go somewhere else and do work, like they move, whatever. And it's nuts. I mean, all these people, where are uh, they are going up without any support, no healthcare, no education, no real prospects. Daily wage work is brutal. It is not enough to even, though proper meals भी नहीं होते हैं उनका. What are we doing? I mean, we really have to question this brand of development.
नहीं, और मतलब जो अगर इफ समबडी थिंक्स कि बहुत ज़्यादा पॉपुलेशन नहीं है, मैं मतलब जस्ट टू गिव पीपल पर्सपेक्टिव कि इन द बैंक्स ऑफ गैंजेस अराउंड एंड देयर आर 130 मिलियन पीपल, इफ आई एम नॉट रॉन्ग। मतलब ये व्हाट आई रियलाइज्ड कि सिर्फ गंगा के किनारे अगर मैं देखूँ, गंगोत्री से लेके टिल द
Hmm,
टाइम जहाँ तक गैंजेस
hmm,
जाती
hmm,
है, कुछ कुछ इतने मतलब लाखों के लोग तो उनके उसके आसपास रह रहे हैं।
hmm.
So the impact is very huge. I mean, I'm sure there are cities as well, but imagine the villages as well. And imagine, these, like you rightly said कि ये लोग हैं, ये ट्राइबल कम्युनिटीज़ हैं, इनके पास, इनको कुछ कुछ राइट्स गारंटी करे हैं कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन ने, बट वो ऑब्वियसली वो एक्सरसाइज नहीं कर पाते हैं, एजुकेशन नहीं है, एंड देन समबडी, एंड दीज आर पावरफुल पीपल हु वुड प्रोबब्ली वांट टू सेट अप एन इंडस्ट्री, and they would manipulate the policy accordingly. and they would be left for anybody. वो तो मर्सी पे ही हैं ये लोग. And this also, just taking a small digression, मतलब ये भूटान is a very interesting example with their commitment to their environment. और मैं last year around मई में भूटान में था, and like that is where I learned more about it. But मैं तो टूरिस्ट स्पॉट्स में ही था, बट फिर भी you can see that कि they have in their constitution they have imbibed that they have to conserve their 70-75% of forest.
Yeah, so even Bhutan, right? You kind of keep your fingers crossed because they also are trying to, come up with dams and stuff like that, become the like battery for India. And all kinds of things are happening in Bhutan as well. But yeah, you're right in the sense that there is the government which is saying and doing, at least saying the right things, and we hope that it stays, or it kind of is able to hold its own, um, even in terms of tourism or whatever. Right now, they've started getting much stricter, even with SAARC countries, which earlier used to have a free reign. Um, but now they've clamped down even on that kind of tourism. So hopefully, yeah, there is, that country is a little better off than we are in terms of at least some thinking.
Tell me about a Sundarban story that really had a very long, deep, एक बहुत ज़्यादा आपके
Hmm.
मेजर इम्पैक्ट करा हो, जिसने आपके पर्सपेक्टिव को, आपके लुकआउट को, समथिंग व्हिच इज़ वेरी क्लोज टू योर हार्ट, अगर इफ यू वुड लाइक टू शेयर.
It's this person who's like my friend now. She's like my sister almost. Um, uh, and it's a story that I still have to write. I haven't written this one, but it's of this lady who lost her father to a tiger. Her father was a fisherman. He had gone out fishing and did not come back. The tiger had taken him. That father's brother got taken by a tiger. She got married. Her husband got taken by a tiger. So this lady has suffered tiger. So she's like a tiger widow, a tiger daughter. I mean, she's like, it's like crazy because, and she's not the only one, right? There are thousands of such women in the Sundarbans where it's there. I think there's an average of uh, what is it, about 50 or 50, 60 tiger uh, kills in a year of people, which means that it's one a week almost. I even know of a good friend of mine who I used to work with in the Sundarbans got taken by a tiger last July. So, yeah, so I think that, and how hard I spent time with this lady. I saw how hard she has to struggle. You won't believe it, one that at the end of I was counting to see how much she makes in a week. At the end of 1 week, she had made 142 rupees, of which if you have to do a profit of how much she could actually keep, it would be more like 70 rupees, okay, because all the other things are having taken care of. And she was trying to collect 2000 rupees so that her son can go and take his 10th standard exam in Gosaba, which is slightly far away from where she lived, and he needed money to stay there for 2 weeks and take his exam and so on. So she was trying to collect 2000 rupees, okay, and she had about a month and a half or 2 months to do this. She was making 70 rupees a week, Vandit, you know. The little kid, there was just no, she has two sons. The younger son wanted to buy a biscuit on his way to school, and they had no money for that. 2 rupee ka biscuit packet. There was no money for that. And I just realized that there is a very, very different yardstick that one has to apply to development or whatever it is that we are running after in this country. When there are people, and this is not one person, it's not a single story, it's like repeated everywhere, so many places. I went to Kerala and I saw so much devastation. I went to Rajasthan, there's devastation. Ladakh, there's, where isn't there such desperation, and so yeah, I think that story, when I saw that little kid wanted to buy, and of course as a photographer, as a chronicler, I'm not technically allowed to help in the sense that, but of course I could buy him those biscuits if I wanted to, and I did. But the thing is, it's crazy, yeah. One biscuit packet, and she finally gave him one egg which the hen had laid, saying, "Go to the store and exchange this egg for your biscuits." And that little boy was crying and crying, 10-year-old. He was crying, saying, "I want this biscuit, and it's not, it's the egg. He won't give me the biscuit for the egg." But it's I mean, you really begin to question, you know, what what it is that we are, what we value and who we value.
A pop-up question, Arti. Why are you not allowed to help?
So it's I'm not allowed to help. Of course, I can help him, but I can't pay her for talking to me. So, or I can't pay her for an interview or something like that. So I couldn't help in that way. But of course, I could buy biscuits for the little kid, and I did. So there was that, but it's just that you can't pay your like a person that you are interviewing or something, because that compromises
Hmm.
your situation as a journalist, right? So.
Oh no, these are like, I mean, uh, the- when you hear the ground reality of this country, you start questioning everything from top to bottom that you know
Mhm.
and what you hear on a daily basis. I mean, these stories, they do not even find a smallest of column in a mainstream newspaper or in media, and we will come to media for sure. But before that, yeah, and even if somebody is listening right now, and I would ask them to question their privilege right now. Okay, probably you have a AC room, probably I'm sitting right now in an AC room, and you too, and we have this comfortable house. Tap water is just like, it's granted, electricity is granted, a pakka house is granted, a food three times is granted. And the least we can do is just be very thankful and grateful for what we have right now, in case we can't
Yeah.
donate. And you know what, Aarti, we should also do is, we through this show, we should also connect the listeners to some organizations which are doing some fabulous work to help these people, in case
Yes.
people would
So
like to
yeah,
donate.
definitely. So going to be working with an organization to set up micro loans for such tiger widows, where
Mm.
they can get these loans to start little income generating activities that will help them get back on their feet. So it's not a handout. It's not a one time handout, which then they can kind of get used to, or rather they get dependent upon it. So it's not like that. This is something which is a loan which they use to make some income generating activity, which then sustains them. They will repay that over time, and the income, then they have something to fall back upon when they for the rest of their lives. So we are working on setting up something like this. I'm working with that same organization that I work with in the Sundarbans to do that for these tiger widows. So yeah, if your listeners are interested, to definitely stay tuned. I will be giving out details of how, who can help, and how, and where you can help, because then you will also build a relationship with this person. You know who you're helping. You know how that person is using your money, and you're just lending the money. She's giving it back to you, so she's also not feeling, her dignity is also is intact as well. So it's hopefully that is going to happen. We are waiting for a few things to settle down. The people that I'm working with are also a little busy with this whole COVID situation, and there's a policy, there's a national fishing policy that has come up, which they're trying to give feedback. All of this is happening now in this lockdown situation, so I think everybody's juggling a few things. But once things settle down a little bit, we plan to do something where um, it'll be a little, it'll be something that we can give back. I did do a small fundraiser for these fisherwomen. Fisherwomen all across actually the coast, all along the coast. I worked with two organizations, and of course after that, Amphan hit also, Cyclone Amphan. So there was that too, where we gave a little bit for them to help. I did it through Photos for a Cause, where a bunch of photographers, I tried to get them together, and they all volunteered their prints, and we sold those for some benefit for these fisherwomen. But yeah, going forward, we want to do something where it's far more sustainable, and something which will help these women grow and get back on their feet. Because unfortunately, these tiger widows, the way it works. If your husband is taken by a tiger, very often the society turns against you, saying you're a bad omen. So a lot of these women are marginalized further. They're already marginalized because they don't have any income, but then they're also ostracized from society. So there's a lot of mental trauma, there's a lot of pain and hurt which is coming upon severe loss as well. So it's not a happy situation, and there has to be we're trying to find a way to truly help these these women.
एक क्वेश्चन था
So,
आरती कि टाइगर जब दे एक एक आदमी की तरफ या दे बिकम अ मैन ईटर, is it because of lack of the food cycle, a healthy food cycle, or is it because that they consider man as something which is natural to them to eat? Yeah, well, how does this
no,
happen?
this it's different in the Sundarbans. Yeah, Sundarbans tigers, they say, are very ill-tempered, and they have developed a taste for human flesh. How and why? I think the jury is still out about that. The scientists are not quite sure of why this happens so much in the Sundarbans, because it is way more in the Sundarbans than it is in all of India put together. The rest of India put together. So there's something, maybe because of the, they say maybe it's because of the salt water, the water that is in the, there's, it's a tidal delta, right? So there's river water and there's sea water which mixes, and it's brackish water there. So maybe it's that makes this, I mean, there are so many theories, but nobody really knows why uh, the Sundarbans tigers are like this. And but it's not just one tiger there. It's, yeah, like I was telling you, right? 52 deaths a year, which means about one a week on average. No, it's not like every week this one, but it's bad.
आपको डर नहीं लगता सुंदरवन जाने टाइम?
So I'll tell you a funny story. I was on this island in this once, okay? It was just before the forest, the last, very, very last island. That's where I always stay when I go there. And I used to walk to this lady's house in the morning and then walk back in the evening to my room, which is at the edge of the forest. And every morning, like I used to sometimes leave at 7 a.m. and it was winter time, so there was a fog, and you couldn't see properly. But I had my torch and stuff like that. So I was walking. I had my camera, my bag, etc. And I was walking about 5 kilometers to this lady's house one way, and then 5 kilometers back. So some people, I think, on the way they've seen me going back and forth, like I was doing this every day, right? One day, I think it was the third day, somebody stopped me and said, "You walk in the morning and you walk in the evening." So I said, "Yeah, I have to go to that side, right? I mean, this is on the other side near the river where she lived." So I said, "I have to go to her house." So they said, "But aren't you scared?" I said, "Scared of what?" I had no idea. They said, "That's the exact time that they have seen tigers in their fields." And I had zero idea that tigers came into the village until then, I had zero idea. And then I started hearing stories of tiger sightings, tiger maulings, tigers have come into the village and hit people and, all kinds of things. After that, I was petrified. I was like, oh my God, now how do I reach that? So I used to go really fast, to walk really fast. And I used to go when it was slightly more bright, not so early, quite so early in the morning when, like I used to previously, and come back before it was dark. But yeah, I learned the hard way it might not be very safe.
पहली बार जब
Like in
या
India.
जब
Yeah, I'm not scared otherwise. It's just, just that was a little, it
अपना
threw me off.
अपना जब भी एक्सपेडिशन होगा आरती विल स्टार्ट विद अ लो रिस्क जोन.
Yes, yes. No, no, don't worry. Anybody who's coming with me for the first time, I'll break them in very gently. I won't.
Right. Arti, I have two stories and I was very curious कि with the limited time हम किसको touch करें. एक है फराका bridge and the situation around it,
Hmm,
that takes us to Bengal. And then there is another extreme east, which is which the story that you cover of Chattar Singh in Thar
hmm,
in Thar
hmm,
desert.
hmm,
So
hmm.
you tell me, I leave the space to you, which is like you would want to cover and you would want to tell the listeners.
फरक्का का मैंने काफ़ी डिटेल में बहुत सारे, मतलब जो पॉडकास्ट और ज़ूम कॉल्स हैं उसमें बात किया है उसके बारे में. सो आई थिंक मे बी योर listeners might have already heard me speak about it. Otherwise, maybe you can put a link in the show notes.
Yeah.
But I would, we can talk about, I don't know, it depends upon, we can maybe touch upon it when we talk about the media stuff.
Hmm.
But yeah, we can maybe go to the desert, which is very interesting as well.
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I leave that space to you. I know the story, but I think
Hmm.
I think I would give you the honor to tell people that story from your viewpoint. Yeah.
Hmm. So this was my very first story that I did. I thought I was going to do a story about the desert's rainwater harvesting. Mm, and I talked to my friend here in Bangalore called Vishwanath, who is this waterman, the Zen Rain Man, he calls himself. Brilliant guy. And he had told me, you go meet this guy called Chatar Singh. So I landed in Jaisalmer. I was doing, I was doing some work with the Pradeep Krishan. We were walking around the desert and, looking at plants and stuff like that. After that, I peeled away and I jumped into a bus. And I'm sitting in this very crowded local bus tha, Jaisalmer se ja raha tha. So I'm sitting just right next to the driver, that side wala seat. And सब लोग मुझे देख रहे थे कि ये कहाँ से आ गई, ये कौन है. And then after I think 15-20 minutes of the drive, the driver couldn't take it anymore. He looked at me and he said, आप कहाँ जा रही हैं? तो मैंने कहा रामगढ़. उन्होंने कहा कि रामगढ़ में कहाँ? तो I said, मालूम नहीं, कहीं होगा कोई होटल. And everybody started laughing in the bus, I was like, oh shit, what did I say? So the driver said, आपने कभी रामगढ़ नहीं गए, आप नहीं गए पहले? I said, नहीं. I said, वहाँ पे होटल कोई नहीं है, कुछ नहीं है, वो तो गाँव है, there's nothing. I was like, oh my god. And I just had this name Chatar Singh and उनका phone number था. I was like, oh. Then I started trying to call him. Phone नहीं उठा रहे हैं वो लोग. So I was like, मर गए, And then these people are like having a nice laugh. They dropped me at the bus stand, and वहाँ पे एक चाय की दुकान थी. So I was sitting there, and I asked for chai, and I was drinking. And then I tried the number again, and Chatar Singh picked up, and he said, "Oh, आप पहुँच गई हैं." So then he came. In, he came in an auto. He picked me up, and then we went to this other house, like NGO का office था कोई. So I stayed there only in a room, okay, bare room. It's just 4 walls and a gadda on the floor. That's it, There was a bathroom on the outside. You wash your own dishes, everything. So very simple setting. But you won't believe what I was in for. I thought I was going to see one thing, that is rainwater harvesting. But when Chatar Singh started talking, I realized that whole ecosystem of how the deep Thar, this is the Thar desert, which is not not like Udaipur, not like Kota, not like Jodhpur, nothing. This is deep Thar desert. This is beyond Jaisalmer towards the Pakistan border. So रेत के जो dunes and all that. So it's quite dry, very very dry. And so I was sitting and he started talking. He said, "How much time do you have?" Luckily, when I go to such places, I've never booked my return ticket. Kabhi nahi. It's always one-way ticket. So मैंने कहा, "How much time do you want? I can stay here for as long as you want to talk to me." So I think I ended up staying there some 10-15 days the first time. And every day we would go out and he would show me what the land was about. This was summer. Okay, it was like April, May. Just bloody kadake ki dhoop thi. It was like crazy 48, 49 and all that. And every day we would go out in the morning and he would just show me the land, how it is, how it flows, what happens, how when the rain falls, where it comes. I couldn't tell anything because everything looked just dry, right? There was nothing there. It was just hot, hot, hot. And then he told me it'll look very different when it rains. I was like, how do I write my story? I'm not there when it rains. And then I called my editor. I told him, boss, this is not a one time, like I can't write the story after this trip. I have to come back again and again until I see when it rains. Rain कब होगा? राजस्थान के desert में कब होता है rain? God knows. शायद हो ना हो क्या मालूम. So you won't believe it, one that I went back every month and spent time there for 1 year. And I saw the full cycle of how the desert changes with a single day's rain. That day it rained on Independence Day, August 15th. And the whole year's rainfall fell in that one day. And I saw and it just rains for 4 inches, very, very little rain over there. And I saw what that rainfall does to the desert. And then afterwards, when I kept going back every month, I realized how these people live. And those stories also, if you can put it up for your readers to read, it'll be great because I've written it in great detail. I realized that there's so much. There's a land ethic, there's a water ethic of these people who live in the desert and live like they're supposed to live. Of course, I saw the other side also, where the Indira Gandhi Canal has brought water into the desert, and this place, which never you had seen a mosquito before, now is the highest malaria incidence in Rajasthan. So I saw the effects of that kind of development also, which is again, inappropriate development for the land. And it was just stunning, the seeing that cycle of how the land changes over a year. And that was my first story. That was the first, well, 5 stories came out of that. But I realized that I don't want to do go in and go out, get out stories. I want to do stories like this, where I can go and spend time and understand how the locals live with the land over time, and be able to truly understand the cycle of the rhythm of the desert. And I saw the whole cycle of how people harvest rain, how they use the rain for growing crops, how people have gone from being beggars before this method of rainwater harvesting was reintroduced to being crorpatis, they call themselves now, because they've been getting so much of the produce. So I saw all of that. I saw fasal kati, jab kati, kaise kati, kya hua, everything. So the whole cycle. And it was brilliant. It was brilliant learning. That was the first story I had set out to do on my own when I decided I was going to quit corporate and do this. And I realized that that's how I want to tell stories. I want to spend time in landscapes and understand rhythms of how people who live there, work with the land, how they speak the land, how the land speaks to them, and how there's this synergy of what then comes out of it. It was an invaluable learning experience, and I would love for your readers to actually go. There were 5 stories that came out of this years worth of traveling to the desert, and it will be lovely. There are some lovely little anecdotes about how they have 40 names for clouds in a place where they hardly see any clouds. There's hardly any rain, but it was just a brilliant learning experience.
ये आई थिंक ये टू गिव पीपल पर्सपेक्टिव, वहाँ पे 80 mm की रेन होती है, बारिश होती है, और बैंगलोर
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
बैंगलोर जैसे शहर में आई थिंक ऑलमोस्ट 1300 to 1500 mm की रेन तो एवरेज होती है, मतलब ज़्यादा ही होती होगी मेरे ख्याल
Exactly. Yeah.
से।
So two places in India. This place that is the hot desert, and Ladakh, which is the cold desert, gets the exact same amount. It gets about 80 to 100 mm of rain in the whole year. They're both deserts.
तो आरती वो बताओ, वो वाला पार्ट आई थिंक दैट इज़ वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग व्हेन वो कैसे वो रेन को हार्वेस्ट करते हैं?
तो क्या होता है? It's very low tech, huh? Somebody wanted to shoot a movie and they were telling me कैसे होता है, बताओ बताओ, and when I told them, they were like, "हैं?" So I was like, "Yeah, that's exactly right. It's very low tech." कि क्या होता है? It's a natural slope of the land. Okay, so these people are shepherds, ना? They're mostly pastoralists, पशुपालक. तो वो चलते हैं, पशु को लेके चलते हैं, हाँ? And when they walk, they understand the land. They know where the slope is and all that. ये बहुत बहुत small slope है. It's like about 1 foot का slope over 1 kilometer. That's small, okay? At the end of that slope, what they do is they throw um, these acacia bushes, जो जिनके thorns होते हैं ना, तो वो डालते हैं वहाँ पे एंड में, जैसे एक बंड जैसे बनाते हैं उसका, और फिर वेट करते हैं जब तक रेत की आंधी ना आए. When the आंधी comes, the sand gets stuck in those things and it starts building its own bund. Okay, so it starts building it on its. So these people have to do nothing; they just have to wait, and they're all pashupalak, so they're like wandering around. They've done this business and they're waiting. When the bund gets built, they make sure that it is strong, and then they wait for the rain. So again, it's a waiting game. And then one day or over a few days in August, usually around this time, it rains in this place. This place is very close to the Pakistan border, so it's like really remote. It rains here, and then when it rains, the rainwater flows down that slope. And when it flows down that slope, it comes to rest at the bund, and that's like their lake now. So they have different kinds. So they have one lake which will be for drinking water, and for their berries, which are their underground shallow wells, which get replenished by these rains. And then they have khadins, where this same kind of thing happens. The bund pe pani aake ruk jata hai. They wait for the water to seep. Again, it's a waiting game, 2-3 months. They wait for the water to seep. जब पानी नीचे चला जाता है, they sow their गेहूं, they sow their धनिया जो भी है, they sow it, and they wait for the fasal to come up. So it's just very simple, यार, low key. They just wait. उनका काम हो गया, they make the bund and then they just wait. So that's how they harvest. And this has been going on for 700, 800 years. Paliwal ke Brahmin jo the, in 700, 800 years ago, they were the ones who came up with this way to harvest rain, and they became very rich from this kind of agriculture. And that has been now resurrected by these desert dwellers.
ये वो वाला पार्ट आप आई थिंक यू शुड आल्सो टेल लिसनर्स आरती व्हेन यू मेंशन ना कि 8 महीने हो गए हो जाते हैं और लाइक इट्स लाइक 3-4 मंथ्स टू रेन लाइक एंड अब लेक सूख गया जो भी
Hmm.
उन्होंने पानी कलेक्ट करा एंड देन
Hmm.
जो उनका बैकअप है
Okay.
वो
आपने आपका होमवर्क बहुत अच्छी तरह से किया है वंदित. I
थैंक यू
love
सो
it.
मच
I love it. अच्छा, तो क्या होता है? Yes, you're absolutely right. So जब पानी आके रुक जाता है बंड पे, तो वो पानी इस्तेमाल करते हैं, लेकिन वो उड़ भी जाता है, right? So over 6 to 8 months, that water all goes away, but it also seeps down. And क्या होता है? In this whole area, they have underneath the ground, they have a layer of gypsum, which stops the water, rainwater, which percolates from the top, from mixing with the salt water of the aquifer down below. Okay, so this water stays on the top part of the soil, and they then build hand dug wells over there, and this they call Rejwani Pani, and that those wells are what get replenished by the rains and what gets percolated down. So they're percolated wells, which mean percolation wells, which means they're called berries. You pull out water from it, and it replenishes itself. And that sound, Vandit, you won't believe it. You know, when somebody has pulled up water, right? You just stand near the berry and you listen, and you can hear the little drops of water coming in from the sides, you know, to replenish the well. It's the most joyous sound ever. I loved standing and listening to that. Every time anybody would come and pull up water, I tell everybody, "Ha, aap log jao. I'm going to just stand and listen to the well," because it was so much fun to just listen to the water coming back into the well. And that well then keeps them for the rest of the time until it rains again. So they have never wanted for water. The people who have restarted this rainwater harvesting process, they have seen droughts. It has not rained for 22 months, and still these berries have got water in them. And I've seen this with my own eyes. This is not hearsay, this is not secondhand information. It's stunning how much water there is in the desert, if you know how to find it.
Hmm. And you know what, it feels like getting Chatar Singh on the podcast sometime.
Oh, I would love that. You know what, Vande? That might be a beautiful thing to do. In fact, instead of going to the east, let's go
Let's do
to the
that.
desert,
And Jaisalmer,
because that is something which I would just love for your readers to hear. You know, him when he starts speaking, na,
uh,
he has such amazing stories.
yeah, and like we can do like one series just on that particular गांव जहाँ पे
Hmm.
कोई होटल नहीं होते.
Yes. अभी सुना है कि होटल खुल गया वहाँ पे.
हाँ,
Somebody told me, "Do you know अभी रामगढ़ में होटल है?" I was like, "I."
yeah. इसमें ना मेरे को 2-3 ये स्टोरी इतनी पावरफुल इसलिए क्योंकि इसमें 2-3 बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रिवलेशंस है अगर कोई इसमें से इससे पढ़ना चाहे उसे सीखना चाहे तो एक जो सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट रिवलेशन है कि जो आपने इसका कंपैरिजन करा था विद द इंदिरा गांधी कैनाल
Hmm. Hmm.
एंड जो इंदिरा गांधी कैनाल की जो हालत है and
Hmm.
that is and it's not about a government or it's not about a party, it is a comment on the state of affairs कि एक जैसे आपने कहा था आपकी एक वीडियो में भी कि कहीं पे हम एक एसी रूम में बैठ के एक पॉलिसी बना देते हैं वो पॉलिसी इज लाइक हमारे स्टेट के रिसोर्सेज उसमें चले जाते हैं लाइक दे मेड दिस ह्यूज कैनाल टू गेट द वाटर एंड लाइक देयर इंटेंट्स मे बी ऑल गुड बट वो द होल कैनाल इज नाउ यू नो इट्स वो गटर भी नहीं है मतलब वो तो सूख चुका है उसमें जैसे आप बता रहे थे कि मरे हुए जानवर पाए जाते हैं यू नो नोबडी यूजेस इट
Hmm.
फॉर ड्रिंकिंग
Hmm.
वाटर.
Hmm.
And so I was like, कि यार, I mean, we need to be a ground up society. We cannot be a top down approach.
Hmm.
मतलब I was thinking कि काश छत्तर सिंह अगर पॉलिसी बनाने में उनका कुछ सपोर्ट होता और या कोई गवर्नमेंट ऐसी होती जो बोलती कि यार मैं ग्राउंड अप पॉलिसी बनाऊंगी आई विल आस्क पीपल टू यू नो अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट इज बेस्ट फॉर देम they could have saved so much of resources, they could have saved so much of money, they could have actually made a functional policy. एंड द सेकंड पॉइंट इज कि यार वो जो कैनाल बना दिया एंड लाइक दिस इज अगेन द सेम थिंग ऑफ डेवलपमेंट की विकास हो रहा है जी अब जब वो कैनाल बना होगा तो लोग बड़े खुश हो गए होंगे बट उसको मेंटेन करना इंश्योर करना टाइम एंड अगेन इट्स डिलीवरिंग द ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ द पॉलिसी और नॉट just working on it, and having a motivated bureaucracy just to who ensures that it's if it is not working out, then you need to find another way, right? And like the when I saw those photos, it was like यार वो बस एक concrete बन के है ना बस पड़ी हुई है. Like I was so disappointed. Like another naked situation of the Indian state.
Yeah, but then that's the thing, right? विकास अगर दिख ना जाए कंक्रीट में तो विकास नहीं हो रहा है. ऐसे ही हम समझते हैं ना कि अगर सिंपल सा ये जो लोग कर रहे हैं वो सिंपल सा है. 15,000 में 5 बेरियां बन सकती हैं. Nobody needs any concrete. Half the time those barriers you can't even see because they're at ground level. तो किसको विकास दिखेगा? गवर्नमेंट को कहाँ पे छाती तान के कहाँ खड़े हो सकते हैं कि हाँ ये विकास कर रहे हैं हम. इंदिरा गांधी कनाल जैसा that kind of big thing is all about that, right? Whether it's appropriate, whether it's right, whether you really need to take water from the Himalayan water from Satluj all the way to
Yeah,
Jaisalmer
yeah.
for farming. And you know what? Where the farms are? The farms are in Raith. So the Chatar Singh, when I was with him, right, we would drive and he would show me where the last khadeen is. Okay, the khadeen where they do the traditional farming, right, where the soil is still very good for farming. He showed me where the last one is, and he said, "इसके आगे हम सबको पता है कि इसके आगे कुछ उगने वाला नहीं है because there's Raith. It's very different. There are different soils in that place. These people understood it. They know it. आगे जाके देखो तो ये सब this नहर का पानी का जब or the whole the सिंचाई is happening and huge things happening. There's waterlogging, there's salinity, there's all kinds of problems. There's ये क्या कहते हैं उसको नीलगाय आ गया है वहाँ पे. There's wild boars now because there's water and stuff like that, which never used to come. They were never used to be there. And there are so many issues. But the point is that unless, I mean, where's the money in simple solutions? The money is all in this kind of massive concrete structures, right? You need the dam, you need Harike, you need the whole thing to go. So recently, 2 years ago, with Paul Salopek as part of the Out of Eden walk, I walked from Punjab to Rajasthan. And so, as it happened, I made sure we kind of, the route went through Harike, and we followed the canal from where it starts to Rajasthan. And you see, there is to a certain extent, there's a lot of people who have been actually getting something out of it. But beyond a point, there's frustration because A, there's no water. Or B, even if the water comes, as you said, it's stinky, it's terrible. The canals are broken. There's a lot of seepage. There's no, the end point is not being serviced. And as you go further and further down into the desert, you realize what a futile dream this is, right? And it's some joker's dream who's sitting in Delhi, like you said, and who has learned it's a very colonial outlook, right? We have to engineer these canals and we have to do this, we have to do that, we have to control the river and we have to divert the river. It may not be the right situation for our land. Our land needs something else. Our land is not London, it's not England, it's not Germany, right? It's a very different land. And nobody has bothered. I was asking Chatar Singh, I said, why don't you tell them? He's like, Kaun sunega mera? Nobody listens to the unglamorous, I guess, option. It's not a glamorous option. What Chatar Singh is doing is वहाँ पे you throw thorny bushes and you wait for the andhi and then you wait for the rains. It's not glamorous. It's I don't know. It's just weird.
That brings me to my next question, Aarti, कि हम विकास and development की इतनी बात करते हैं, like and I'm throwing a broader question at you, that like what is like really a sustainable development as per you and like what you have seen in all these years?
I don't think there's one answer, Vandit. It's like जो जैसलमेर के लिए ठीक है वो जोधपुर के लिए शायद ठीक ना हो, या जोधपुर के लिए जो ठीक है वो कोटा के लिए ठीक ना हो. All of this is in Rajasthan. When you're looking at development in Rajasthan, for example, or you're looking to create certain things, or there's some problem you're trying to solve, I think that local solutions, the things that are correct for that particular place, we don't seem to take into consideration. And when we do, if we do, it works. When we don't, and we try to apply a one size fits all policy, or large, solutions, which, if they're not thought through, if they're not specific to the landscape, they fall flat on their face. So, if it has to be sustainable, I feel that you have to seriously look at what that land is saying to you. And it might be very different even across 20 kilometers, And it might be different on one side of the road and the other side of the road because of the slope, you know. So all these, I feel that if we were to slow down and if we were to really look at what we want, um, what problem we're trying to solve and come up with local solutions, it'll be brilliant. Like when I was talking to Sonam Wangchuk in Ladakh, he was saying the same thing. He said, "What is our education? What kind of education are we opting for in this country when it cannot solve local problems?" It's almost like this factory school, where you're churning out these people, and some of them only, um, who are learning about things which are not necessarily correct for the place where they're going to go work in, right? जो पंजाब में होता है वो लद्दाख में थोड़ी ना, it will not work in Ladakh. If you go to the Ladakh and you see the way it is, it's not going to work there. And still people are trying to apply the same kinds of things. Or what works in the Thar, even though it's a desert, Ladakh is a desert, it's not going to work. So the point is that let's take a step back. Let's look at what the land's telling us, what the water is telling us, what the hydrology is telling us, and do what is right by the land. That I think would then be sustainable to some extent at least.
Hmm. And you know what, Arti, Mehta, when I was reading all your stories and everything, especially the Faraka bridge, and by the way, I really encourage listeners to go and see that Faraka dam के कारण कितने it's a barrage, it's not that dam, जिसके कारण कितने लोग displace हो गए. But what I realized was when you had those graphics about basins and delta, and
Hmm.
it was like कि यार ये social science में पढ़ा है 5th 6th 7th 8th स्टैंडर्ड में ये. सो और सोशल साइंस को हमने ऐसे साइड कर के रखा था, लाइक एंड जस्ट लाइक वी वर प्रो साइंस करिकुलम है हमारा, तो एंड आई वाज लाइक कि यार दिस इज लाइक कमिंग फुल सर्कल, दिस वाज लिटरली आउट ऑफ स्ट्रेट आउट ऑफ अ टेक्स्ट बुक ऑफ लाइक अ 7th 8th 9th का सोशल साइंस बुक. Those figures that you were saying, and that you showed in one of those videos. And to anybody who's listening right now, I would really like to say ki, you know don't take, if there is any youngsters out there, don't take these subjects lightly, because they can really define the course of humanity and your people and your country, when things go at a grand scale. और जब हम उसको initially पढ़ते हैं तो ऐसा लगता है कि because you said about education system,
You're
so
absolutely right, Pandit. We have built these silos. 12th standard में हमको choose करना पड़ता है कि art करेंगे या science. It's crazy, yaar. It's so necessary. Both of those things are so necessary. Even commerce, all of those things are so necessary. They're basic skills, and you need to learn how to apply one to another, and look across these silos to be able to solve problems. We have all been sitting in silos and trying to solve problems, which is why we've gotten ourselves into deeper trouble. You're absolutely right, and I think any youngsters listening, I wish there was some way we could change that game.
हाँ नहीं, एंड आई वाज लाइक कि यार अरे डेल्टा तो मुझे पता है, रिवर बेसिन तो मुझे पता है, एंड आई वाज लाइक मैं नॉस्टैल्जिक हो गया था कि हाँ ये मैंने पढ़ा हुआ है एंड आई नो अबाउट इट, इट जस्ट आई कैन नॉट रिकॉल. तो या आई मीन वेरी वेरी सैड.
Recently I sat in a talk by Professor Jagdish Krishnaswamy from A3, and he explained the river so beautifully, where he was talking about these four dimensions of the river, where you need to have longitudinal connectivity, matlab along the length of the river. You need to have lateral connectivity, which is across the river, from left bank to right bank. And then you need to have vertical connectivity between the surface water and then the aquifers and the groundwater. And then you have the temporal cycle, which is, different seasons में कैसा flow होता है. And so the way the flows are, and how you understand a river is so essential. And I think, unfortunately, the people who are doing policy in our country have not understood what a river is. They think river is a pipe of water. And I'm not kidding. I mean, it's so stunning the way they talk about it, right? It's crazy.
Good anecdote. Now moving to the most important. And by the way, do you want to take a break? We can take a break.
No, I'm fine. I'm good.
Great. Okay. So I will be putting a small commercial here.
Sure.
Yes. Let's talk about very important thing. How media covers these particular situations. How much time does it gives to time, airtime, or print columns? Does it give to what biases are present, and most likely the nexus of politicians, media, industry, and by the end of it,
Mhm.
the loss of a common man. So I try to look up some stories and I try to think, ki, okay, what is the narrative media is giving. So one thing which I realized was that it really so media it works on eyeballs and uh, till the time there is the impact is huge, they would not really cover a story. Like till the time in Assam there won't be millions displaced, quote unquote, millions displaced. May not be cover worth a story. So that is one pattern which I definitely realized. Anyway, what's your thought about it?
You're absolutely right. And not just Assam, right? There was Chennai. Chennai gets flooded every year. When it gets flooded, there's hoo-ha in the media. Okay, everybody will write about the media, talk about how we have destroyed wetlands, that we need to reclaim it, blah 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 blah. Blah. And then the dry season will come. सब चुप हो जाते हैं, सब भूल जाते हैं. Everything is lost until the next monsoon again. It's almost like this thing, right? Which I think it was Einstein who said, trying to do the same thing over and over again and expecting different results is insanity. That's exactly right. I mean, we're not the the media looks for events. Something happens, they go report it, and when it's this news cycle, right? And then it dies down, and it's gone. It's out of the psyche. Nobody even thinks about Kerala's landslides or anything, and then until it happens again. Same with Assam floods, right? That's one problem. The fact that they don't really stick with the problem and push the government or the people that are making the policy to solve for it. We're supposed to be the guardians, right, of such commentary and to push the people who we have elected to be able to solve some of these problems for us. But no, that doesn't happen. And secondly, very very few people in the media try and find out what the actual problem is. They all report only on the symptom. The floods are a symptom of a certain problem. The drought is a symptom of a certain problem. How Bombay floods in every monsoon, 1 or 2 days of that intense, crazy rain, is a symptom of a problem. What is the problem, and how do you report on that? How do you keep up the pressure to get that problem solved? To why does Assam flood? Are floods bad? How are we thinking of these floods? Is that right? Kaziranga will die if there are no floods. So these kinds of things. But then, of course, how have things changed over the years? What causes these floods? There are so many questions that the media can ask, but we don't, because again, it's a lot of hoo-ha. If you look at the TV, I don't know what to look at. There are 3,000 different things changing on every screen. You can't even tell what the main mudda is. What are they talking about? Because there'll be something else only going on down below. There'll be some, yatra, something will be going on down below. There'll be some Amitabh Bachchan has something else is going on somewhere else, and everything is on the same screen. Where do you pay attention? And so the way we report things is just, there's no sticking with the problem. There's no going deep. There's no trying to find the source of the problem. There's none of that when it comes to environment. And also there is a whole othering happening. कि हाँ वो environment है, अच्छा ये लोग हाँ those are the greens, they're tree huggers, this that, all those kinds of things. What is environment? Environment is what is around you. If you're not an environmentalist, I am scratching my head. How can you not care about the air you breathe or the water you drink? Doesn't that matter to you? It makes me wonder when people say, oh, she's an environmentalist. Everyone needs, I mean, it's just common sense, right? That you would want the best environment. But we seem to have forgotten that. And I think, it's amazing, but I love quoting this because it was said in 1949, just after the war, where Aldo Leopold said that civilization has so cluttered the elemental man earth relationship with gadgets that the awareness is growing dim. We imagine industry supports us, forgetting what supports industry. And that is exactly what has happened today. And it's showing up in the media and the way we report it as well.
हम्म, हाँ मतलब ये मतलब बहुत डीप रूटेड प्रॉब्लम है और एपिसोड आई थिंक 10 में आई थिंक मैं कवर्ड विद मेघनाथ द प्रॉब्लम ऑफ इंडियन मीडिया एंड आई
Mm,
मीन इट्स बिजार मतलब मेरे को समझ नहीं आया मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ जब वो मैंने इन आई एक तो ये कम so that the problem like you said itself the problem is of a web if you start asking the right questions तो मतलब you will get lost but at least you can bring some perspective so for example अब जैसे बैंगलोर की बात करते हैं अब बैंगलोर में सिटी
mm,
ऑफ लेक्स थी बट लेक्स तो बचे नहीं और वो तो मेरे मेरे
mm,
ख्याल से तो आई मीन डैम्स हो गए या एकदम सड़ चुके हैं या सूख चुके हैं एंड
mm,
बैंगलोर में वो जहाँ आप रामगढ़ गए थे उससे कितनी ज़्यादा वर्षा होती है एज़ कम्पेयर टू दैट
mhm, mm.
और हम सिर्फ उसी को हार्वेस्ट कर लें तो आई मीन वी कैन डू वंडर्स बट हम उसको हार्वेस्ट नहीं करेंगे बिकॉज देर इज नो ड्रिवन गवर्नमेंट जो कि ऐसा करना चाहेगी या जिसका इंसेंटिव है ऐसा करने के लिए या प्रोबेबली इट वुड बी वेरी एक्साइटिंग फॉर देम टू डू दैट और समथिंग और अ वेरी ड्रिवन कम्युनिटी
No, but Vandit, there is a law. There is a law that every independent establishment, like a apartment complex or a independent house in Bangalore, has to harvest
तो
rain
होता
that falls
ऐसा
on its
होता नहीं
roof.
होगा
It's
ना
a law. लेकिन होता नहीं है एग्जैक्टली वही तो क्योंकि क्यों इट्स मच easier to pay somebody to
या
get a
या
borewell, who's going to set up everything and all of that, right? And you're exactly right. If Bangalore gets more than double what it rainfall of what the residences in Bangalore consume, more than double. So, agar sab log, if everybody could catch the rain water that falls on their roofs, it could be a completely different story.
वो कैम वही ना मतलब आई थिंक आई टेक दिस एग्जांपल ऑफ इंदौर व्हेन
Mm,
यू माइट हैव हर्ड माय होम टाउन इंदौर इन इन द स्वच्छ
mm,
भारत रैंकिंग एटसेट्रा एटसेट्रा it was just a driven नगर पालिका they came up with these campaigns and slogans कि इंदौर को स्वच्छ बनाना है and like every morning there will be vans with these slogans there will be dustbins and they would ensure that everybody is following cleanliness apps and they got some singers from Bollywood to showcase everything and the campaign so you got to do this that is what brings ground level change that a simple piece a policy is a piece of paper if it is not implemented and it is that is it that is sometimes it is not even that but agar ek अच्छी policy के साथ there if there is a driven government then things can really change but coming to this media point I also think that environment sort of is losing ground and losing grip in mainstream media for some reason I don't know why the only time you will talk about environment is दिल्ली में pollution बहुत ज़्यादा है जी मुंबई में फ्लड आ गया केरला में फ्लड आ गया चेन्नई में फ्लड आ गया और अब थोड़ा ज़्यादा हो गया तो असम में फ्लड आ गया बट इसके अलावा जो मेजर इन्वायरमेंटल इश्यूज हैं वो कहीं भी नहीं है एंड यू मेंशन इन द स्टार्ट ऑफ द एपिसोड नर्मदा बचाओ आई डोंट नो वेरी इन डेप्थ ऑफ इट बट आई रिमेंबर शायद मैं कॉलेज में था एंड आई थिंक इज दिस द सेम कैंपेन आरती जिसमें आमिर खान आल्सो पिच्ड इन
mhm, mhm. No, no, no. This is the original Narmada Bachao, which is Medha Patkar.
ओके ओके हाँ
उस 90s में हुआ था.
अच्छा ओके this is a different one
Mm.
okay so I mean when you talk about these stories तो I mean अब वो political binaries create हो जाती है आजकल कि तुम you talk about Adivasis you
Correct,
talk about all people living on the ground so then you are probably a leftist or if you are not
correct.
and if you are not you're not pro government then I think that's a problem and how what's your thought about it
You're exactly right. The in the creation of binaries, in the creation of black and white, in the creation of either you're with us or you're with them, us, them, othering, all of this, we have lost in not just the media, not just mainstream media, even in social media. We have lost our appetite for nuance, our appetite for analysis, our appetite for hearing, listening, of considering a different point of view. And that is a problem on both sides. Huh? It's not just. I mean, I very much fault both extremes and people who kind of just jump to conclusions and jump at your throat at every mention of anything, to state some very strongly held opinion. Uh, we've lost a lot because of that, and it's not a binary, right? I mean, there are so many things that one can do. It has to be appropriate, it has to be right, but we are also somewhere we have lost out to the to power, where the power resides only with the rich. And I know I'm sounding, of course, I'm going to sound like very whatever the labels that
Co-
can be, yeah, yeah, communist, जो भी है ना, yeah,
Communist.
yeah. Of course, that will get immediately thrown. But the point is, look around. This is the same discourse happening in the US also now. With the
Yeah, yeah.
social democrats, right? They're talking about it because there's so much inequality. And just look around, right? I mean, when this something like the pandemic or something hits us, um, you are going to find that it is going to come home and touch you. It's not somebody else's problem anymore, and these kinds of things can only be solved with thoughtful. How you're going to do this, you have to have thought about it ahead of time. You have to have these things in place, where you can build through some of the things that are going to all kinds of echelons of society will affect you. We are living in that kind of a connected world, and the minute you reduce it to a binary, you have already lost you, and it's going to come back to bite you at some point. We may not see it right away, but it's
Hmm.
going to come back to bite us.
Yeah. Which brings us to our final section, which is taking questions from people who are interested, and there were a couple of good questions, and on the Twitter thread that you you shared a while back. So Sam wants to know
Hmm.
that, are there any books that you would recommend for environment, tree hugging, Chipko moment? I know these are very uh,
Exactly what I was talking about. The minute you start calling us that, now it becomes this other those kinds of people, झोला जो पहन के घूमते हैं, that types of people.
so
No, yeah, but I absolutely, and you know what? I'll be happy to publish one which you can then, share with your show notes. There are some really good, very interesting books which your listeners can read.
there's a technical question from Madhu Ranjappa, and I don't understand the details of it. I don't know, but I think you know about it. He asks, why is Kasturi Ranga report on Western Ghats not implemented?
Um, I can ask another question also. Why is the Madhav Gadgil report not implemented? It's where there's a will. If it's a priority, it will be implemented. Otherwise, there'll be an excuse for it not to be implemented. We are unfortunately facing um, resistance to anything that impedes uh, ease of business, which basically means a lot of corrupt practices. Unfortunately, it's translating to that. And if anybody doubts that, they can just look around and see what all has happened in the last few months in terms of accidents in industry, and how it has affected all of us. And so, yeah, I think it's why it's not being implemented, because a lot of very powerful people stand to lose a lot of money and power. Um, yeah, and it's the same story everywhere. It's not just in the Western Ghats.
Hmm. Uh, Isha Chitnis has this question. I think you also follow Isha. And she asks,
Yeah.
how can I ensure that the natural landscapes and photos of animals and birds and plants that I capture can be used for conversation purpose? What process can I follow?
Um, it's wonderful that we are living in this time of social media. In spite of all the bad things that social media can stand for, I think many more voices are needed where, people like Isha who are doing, different kinds of work, which is very, very important, including taking photographs of things like that. And of animals and things like that. And they can start uh, talking about these things, maybe with students, with youngsters. I feel somehow I feel that the hope lies there. It lies in the next generation. I have really quite given up on our generation, though I don't want to completely give up. Maybe somewhere there's a small bit of hope, but for me, there's a huge amount of hope every time I talk to youngsters, and so that I think is something that all of us could engage far more with, and also start spreading those kinds of and not just species, right, but also stories about how things are changing, not necessarily all happy stories, and some not so happy stories as well, and start talking about how things are changing, why something should or should not uh, be seen a certain way. There are many ways to just dig deeper and go beyond just a species or a name, to spread, because that everybody now does that, especially with tigers and stuff like that. But there's a lot more that people can do when it comes to maybe lesser known species, or everyday species, like what's in your backyard. That I feel I'm a big proponent of, just keeping your eyes open and going and looking for bugs in your backyard, and seeing all the beauty that's there in your house and in your backyard, and spreading the word about that, getting kids interested.
Uh, Sesh Solankar has this question, which is, I think it's a very obvious answer in my mind. I don't know whether you can tell better, that how reversible is all the ecological damage that policy has caused in the last 2 decades?
um how reversible is it? I visited last August, around this time. I visited the Elva, which is a river in the North Pacific Northwest in the U.S., where there used to be a dam above, in on the higher reaches of the river, which came down, and that has rejuvenated the whole valley. It has taken a lot of time. Huh? It's not like something that happened overnight. Um, it was monitored closely. It was thought out. There was a lot of thought that went in, a lot of activism that went in before the dam came down, a lot of thought that went in about how the dam should come down, and then there has been monitoring happening about what is happening to the ecosystem. If all of that, if we are up for all of that, and it can be a beautiful citizen, movement. If we are up for all of that, uh, and we are ready to reverse some of the damage that has been done, it may not be in the next year or two. It may take 5, 10, a couple of decades. But there's no saying. Nature has a wonderful way of reclaiming its life and land, and rejuvenating itself. So it just requires the will.
Okay. And finally, I have some funny questions which you don't have to answer, and but I'm just throwing them at you just so that we can enjoy our last bits. So Sam 110200 wants to know that what fitness activity you recommend for getting fit for tracking, and do you want to answer that?
um, walking, walk a lot. Make sure your quads are strong. If you're carrying something on your back, make sure you have a strong back. Your core. I mean, everything that's just normal fitness, right? The best thing about being out in nature is that there's not. It's in itself, it's the training on the job almost, right? So the more you go out, the more you hike, the more you're going to get better at things. But definitely don't do it if you have weak knees, or sprained ankle or something like that. But build up your muscles and steady.
uh, Great, yeah. I think this is so much fun, Aarti, and thank you so much for coming on Lights Camera Azadi. It was such a fun, wonderful, eye-opening conversation.
Absolutely, it was wonderful talking with you. I'm sorry I pushed it so much, Vandit, but hopefully there lekin durust,
बिल्कुल.
and let's do that trip sometime.
Oh yes, yeah, we should definitely. And this is not like one of those things where I will say and will forget. This is on record that we will.
Yes, it is.
There will be a
Zarur.
follow up, and I don't know when, but I think one trip is definitely on the cards.
What an episode, right? Loved it. Lovely. I mean, the stories, the details, uh, the excitement, the thrill, that everything that Aarti talked about, it was breathtaking, to be honest. Uh, you can follow Aarti on Instagram. You can follow her website and her work. I have given everything in the show notes. Um, if you have any feedback, please email it to us on lightscameraazadi@gmail.com. Please visit the website. Tell us, do you like it, you don't like it, you hate it. Please tell us. You can reach to me directly on Twitter or on Instagram. Follow us on YouTube, Facebook, etc. Stay home, stay safe. घर पे रहें. धन्यवाद. जय हिंद.